Hello. Waiting on Kate to join.
Yeah, it doesn't let me see.
Okay. Hey, Tracy. Hey, guys. There's Kate. So I've got to add her. Let's see. Waiting on Kate.
Hi!
There she is.
Hey, friend!
Hello. I've missed you so much.
Same! Same! Same.
Oh my gosh. You're here. I see
I know, I
you.
wish I was like really there. But
I
this will
wish
work.
you were really here too. So I figured we would just like let people log on for a few minutes before we get started. So we'll just chit chat.
Yay!
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Just, at home like
I
everybody
know.
else.
We're just at home doing that. Josh is here. He's over here in the.
Josh!
Howdy, howdy.
Hey, I tried to talk my husband into getting on, but he was not ready.
He was not ready. Well, if he gets ready before it's over, tell him to come.
I will. I
We'll
will.
see
He's,
him.
teaching right now, but
Yeah, I know.
I think he's done for the day.
My
so.
kids are legit and they're doing homeschool. And I was like, listen, I'm going on a live with Kate. And when I'm done, you need to be through with school. Dishes need to be loaded.
Yes. Oh, that's so funny.
People are fixing to get the real us, Kate.
Yes, they are. Yes, they
They're
are.
fixing to get the real Kate Davis.
Hey, Alex. I love you.
What's wrong? Can I raise my seat up? Josh said. I must be too low. Is that better, Josh?
There we go. I had to like stack some little notepads right here on my desk, so it's real fancy.
I actually have mine hooked onto my computer screen that Josh just added.
Yes.
I'm saying hello to everyone. Look at all of our fun friends joining us.
Wendell Maine, that's like my best friend from Dallas.
No way.
Yes.
Hello, best friend.
Miss her.
And it's warm
Hey,
in here.
Katie. Hey, Tracy.
Look at all the fun people.
This is so fun.
I know. I'm so excited. Guys, if you're just joining us, we are waiting a couple of minutes, just letting people get logged on because we've received so many questions.
It's really exciting.
Kate's like, how many questions do we
I was
have?
like, what? Okay. So,
and if you've been around our friendship at all, Katelyn became Kate to me about a year ago, and I don't think I've called her Katelyn since. So.
No. Which, like, I don't know if you know, like, in high school, my best friends called me Kate.
Okay.
It kind of transitioned into college, but then became less of a thing. But, like, Dylan calls me Kate. So,
it's like
my favorite people.
Yeah. That's like Amy Cole for me. People who
Yes.
truly, like, know me in real life, like, most people, like Josh calls me Amy Cole. Like he'll yell up the steps, "Hey, Amy Cole, you want Chinese for dinner?"
It's like,
not bad Chinese for dinner.
Hey, that actually is not a bad idea.
That isn't a bad idea. That's the only places we're eating right now: Chick-fil-A and our Chinese restaurant, because we love them so much and we want to try to keep them in business. So
yes, that's awesome.
They're the sweetest little couple. So we got we'll wait one more minute while people are
okay. Sounds good.
talking. So, how's Dylan doing with school?
It's good. I mean, he really prefers to be in person with the kids.
Sure.
So I know some teachers may feel, that they like it, but he's
probably, yeah.
It's making the best of it, but
yeah, it's hard when you're teaching, like just watching our kids like learning digitally. Oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's really ever done this. Like, it's crazy. They Zoom each class like once a week, and so he loves that like interaction with them. But yeah, ready to praying and hoping they can at least go back sometime.
Have they not canceled school to the end of the year for y'all yet?
Not officially. I mean, everyone's kind of thinking it's inevitable, of course, but no, not officially.
Wow.
So
okay.
Yeah, I think like I feel like I heard it was gonna be made official like in the next week or two, but we'll see what happens.
So, yeah, they canceled ours about 3 weeks ago. So we're done.
I know, especially for Becca, it's just like,
oh yeah,
the worst.
It's been super emotional. Having a senior during this has been a lot.
I can't imagine.
Okay, so it's 2:00, so I'll just chit chat and let everybody know what's happening. So Josh is over here to my side. If he's going to moderate, so if anybody has any questions while we're chit chatting, we're going to keep this really casual. Kate and I are not like super
We're not
fancy people at all. But this was just a fun idea. I thought it'd be really neat because we both have been in business a while, and I love Kate. She and I are like good friends in the outside world, not just in social media world. Like my family adores her. So I just thought she would be a fun start for this. Just talking about business and life and like how we've been handling things.
Yes.
She and I correspond a lot anyway. We float. She'll tell you this too, but like Kate and I are like these people that go back and forth with each other. Like if we're having a big business decision, I'll call her and I'm like, hey, this is what I'm thinking.
Yes.
It's going crazy. And she does the same to me. Not only that, but we are constantly praying for each other, and we reach out to each other when we're struggling and stuff. So all that to say, Josh is sitting here right beside me. If you have questions while we're asking, please put those in the comments, and Josh is going to throw them out to us if anybody has any. Who knows? We did have like 7,000 apps.
Yeah, we have plenty. So.
We may cover everything that everybody wants to know. Okay, so Kate, I'll throw this one to you first, since this was a question asked. How did we meet?
Oh, I love this question. Hey, Hallie. I was saying hi to Hallie. So we met at our friend Callie's workshop in Charleston.
Yes.
Which is just so fun, and it's just so cool to see. I mean, I believe this about any relationship, but God always just brings people together in like the coolest way. And so our friendship's definitely grown since then. Like we connected immediately, of course, because I just loved you. And you're the most fun ever. But then just like, I don't know, your heart for the Lord. And I mean, you've just been a role model to me ever since we met. So I'm like, that we're real friends makes me really happy.
We're both so giddy. We're like,
I love you.
I do love that story. I remember there was one specific moment at that workshop. Well, I was really broken. I mean, you remember, and that's not something that I even hold back from talking about.
Right.
During that season, that was a really hard season we had been walking through ministerially. And I just remember getting in that room with a bunch of like-minded girls who just loved me. Like, it kind of turned from business real fast to just like people genuinely caring about each other. And I remember the last morning, you and I sat beside each other on the couch. And I just remember, I think there was a moment where I even leaned over to you, like, I just felt that, like, she knows my same God. We serve the same Savior. Like, there was just this moment, like, we just had this connection.
Yes.
And it's been there. I just feel like it's been there since that moment. We've never not been friends.
I know.
Constantly talking since that day.
Yeah.
We had such a good group at that
We
workshop.
did. It was such a blessing. That was awesome.
Yeah,
So.
that was very, very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Do you want to say anything?
Jim Pierce is saying.
Oh, Jim Pierce says, hey. Hey, Jim Pierce. We love
Miss you, Jen.
She was one of our Callie, Lindsay, Charleston workshop girls.
Jane says hey.
Lots of people are saying hey.
Everybody's saying hey.
Everybody's saying hey. Well, hey, everybody.
So good to actually be connecting with people right now.
This is exciting.
Yes.
Okay, so another question that we got asked, Kate, is what does your wedding day shot list and schedule look like for you? So do you want to talk about that, and then I'll talk?
Sure, yeah. Because I'm sure we have some similarities, but it's cool to hear, the differences and what different people do. So I kind of have a template, a wedding day timeline template that I work off of. Pretty much for every wedding. Of course, there's little changes that are made, but kind of the order of the day is pretty much the same for every wedding. And that's helped me just from all the weddings I've done. It just helps to build that confidence in me of like, okay, I know what I'm doing right now. Like, I've done this and I know what I'm doing. So, for me, and I'm sure it's the same for you as far as starting with like details and getting ready and then going into, I usually go right into like first look. and then you know, the wedding party photos, family photos. I do family photos before the ceremony if possible. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, we've done it both ways, and you know, like, we know the difference in how just much more smoothly it goes beforehand. Right. Yeah, and so, and most of my couples do a first look, so that kind of helps create that consistency. Of course, if they don't, there are changes made. But yeah, that's kind of, hopefully that kind of gives an idea.
Yeah, and honestly, ours is almost identical to that. I mean, we have a flow chart. We send out a questionnaire 45 days before their wedding.
Right.
And it asks every question.
Yes.
Known to mankind. Like,
yes.
Like things, I've even, since Josh has been working with me, I've even added things because he would always ask me questions like, what are their colors? Like, how formal is this wedding? And I had not ever really asked that because I had always just worn black. It wasn't a big deal.
Right.
But now, since he's with me, he wants to know, do I need to like dress up a little bit more? Sure. Do I need to dress down? So I've even added questions since he started working with me, 4 years ago. But yeah, our flow chart is pretty much the same thing. I just guide through the day, and I know that if it's a really large wedding, like a very expensive large wedding, I know that I need more time for details because it's like they're going to have 5,000 more details. If it's a small, simple wedding, then I know that I usually can shoot those details in about 30 minutes. So I think I think as long as you have a template like you have, I have the same thing. As long as we have a template, I think it's great that we can move through those days pretty simply. So it sounds like we have the same.
And to add to that, I feel like, I know there are photographers that maybe leave the schedule up to the bride, or even the coordinator. And I know from my experience, because we know how much time we need for pictures, all my brides so appreciate that I do that timeline for them. Like, I've never had any of them be like, well, I want to make my own, because that's one less thing they have to do.
Exactly.
Megan's on here. Hey, Megan.
Oh, Megan. Hey, girl.
But yeah, I just feel like that's another way we're like serving them.
Yeah, I do too. And a lot of times, one of the other things that I'll talk about on this really quickly is we have a lot of those, you know, day of coordinators or wedding coordinators that want to talk with us. And I've learned that I reach out to them pretty quickly as soon as I know that they're involved in the wedding and I find out that they're a part of that wedding. I reach out and I let them know, hey, we're happy to work with you on a flow chart, but I want you to understand that we will create our own flow chart, and then we will send it to you because this is how we shoot a wedding. I mean, Kate, you know this. A lot of times it's me and you doing the wedding coordinating sometimes.
Right.
Like
that, real life.
We're the ones getting them through.
Yes.
That day. Not every bride can afford that or even opts for that. And so we end up being that a lot of times. So I always tell those wedding planners or day of coordinators, I'm like, listen, we're great following that, but we would love it if you would take our time chart and our flow chart and incorporate it in yours.
Yes.
Versus you telling us where we need to be.
Definitely.
Because that messes, I mean, I know for me, it messes Josh and me both up. Like we have a way of doing things. So
yes. And that's the thing. Every photographer has kind of their normal, this is the amount of time we need and that sort of thing. And it's just different for everyone. So it's definitely awesome when the coordinator is willing to work with that. And, you know, it's a team effort.
It is. All right. So next question is, what is your favorite lens and why?
Okay. So my favorite is my Canon 50 millimeter. I use all Canon lenses. But I just use it all the time. Like, it's just the one that I use constantly. We've talked about this before that I think we're different.
No, I actually use the 50.
Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, but okay, so do you use a 24-70 though?
I use a 24 to 105. Just for the the ceremony is about the only time I switch lenses other than a few times in the reception.
Yes.
So for me, it's a 50 pretty much on all day. Josh is an 85 pretty much all day. He does love the 40 pancake lens.
Oh, I love that one. I have
it. He loves it for like just different kinds of angled type shots, especially since he's on the side. But during the ceremony, I switch out between the 24 to 105, the 50, and the 70 to 200.
Awesome.
I literally only use that 72 to 200
when you
for ceremonies. Like,
yes.
Sometimes I wonder why.
Well, and I know for me, I have to have pretty decent lighting to be able to use that lens. I mean, it's perfect. I always use the 70 to 200 for outdoor ceremonies. just because that really keeps me from having to switch a lens hardly at all.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I try to use during my like shoots and stuff, like engagement shoots and portraits. I try to switch between the 50, the 85, and the 35.
Yeah.
Just
to
because
get something different.
I feel like they each give a different look. But honestly, people ask me all the time, like, what lens would you use if you could only use one on a wedding day? And I'll always say 50.
Oh yeah, 50 would be mine too. I've even shot details with a 50 before. If you get it right in camera, then it's pretty easy to crop it in and edit it. So
yes, that's very true.
Okay, this is a great question, but this one's gonna go a little bit deep.
Okay.
So our question that someone asked was, how has COVID-19 affected your business?
Do you want to go first?
I can.
It doesn't matter.
Y'all. Woo. It has greatly affected our business. We have rescheduled 8 weddings.
Oh my gosh.
We have 3
Crazy.
on the blitz of a rescheduling kind of moment. Our June brides have already reached out. All but one June bride has reached out and asked about alternative dates, which we're thankful that they're doing that.
Sure.
In all sincerity, I keep telling them, like, I'm not trying to force you to change your date. When I reach out to you, I'm really reaching out to say to you, like, your vendors are getting booked up really fast. If you want an alternate date that you want me to pencil in lightly, you need to do that now. Don't wait on that. So it's been a really weird season. Like, our couples have been amazing. We have not had one couple that has been hard to deal with. I'm super grateful and feel so blessed by that. But it's just shut down everything. Like, we have had, when we start back up and are able to shoot engagement shoots again and all these family sessions that we still have on the books, but we can't shoot, we're going to be a little overwhelmed. Is there anything else that you've thought of that would?
Well, I was just going to say that, and I'm sorry, I'm off camera. And
You're fine.
Yeah, it definitely has caused us to have to shift around a lot of things and just come back to why we do what we do.
Yeah.
Keep that the center of the focus and, making sure that the couples are the priority.
Yeah, we have tried really hard. Like, we sent out cookies to all like Tips Treats. If you've been around us very long, we love some Tips Treats. I sent some of those out to our couples last week. I don't want to send them just something like a little cart. Like we're stress eating around here, so they probably do. Like, I was trying to think of something that would make their heart feel better. So we're trying to do little things like that. It's been a whirlwind, honestly. Like, I feel a little not overwhelmed in the sense of like what to do, but I just feel like overwhelmed for them, honestly. Like, I feel so bad for them. So yeah, it's changed our business and our direction a lot recently. Lots of Zoom conferences. Yeah.
Oh yes, for sure.
Lots of face-to-face meetings so we can see them eye to eye, like, and say, like, we're with you, like, we're not leaving you, we're here for you. So what about you, Kel?
Elopements.
Oh yeah, we do have a lot of them changing to elopements. A whole lot of we have a whole lot of couples changing to some elopements and maybe eloping like soon, like not in the next month, but like sooner, and then changing over to a full wedding in a year. We have had that happen too a lot. What about you, Kate?
Wow. Yes. So for me, of course, my whole perspective through this season has been, and we've talked about this, is like trying to see the positive. I didn't have any weddings in April, so that was just totally, that just happened. Yeah. I didn't have any. So April was already going to be really slow for me anyway. And so that, hasn't changed a ton. I had 4 weddings in May that have all been, one of them is still trying to decide on a date, but they're all being rescheduled. And then similarly to you, my June brides have kind of reached out, but they're kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. And so that's the thing I've learned a lot about in this too, is it's just been a lot of waiting too, of like trying to want to be there for them and serve them and let them know I'm still here, but also not annoying them to death that like, hey, I haven't heard from you. Like, what are y'all thinking? Because in my mind, they're just so stressed out.
They are. And I've even reached out to them and just said simple things like, hey guys, we're not pressuring. I just want you to know that we're here. Like, I've even sent a couple of messages like that. Like, we're not asking you for anything. We don't need you to nail down a date. I just want you to know that Josh and I are praying for you. Like, we feel overwhelmed for you. Like, I feel so horrible for these couples that have planned these dream wedding days and spent this money, and now.
Yes.
So anything that we can do to serve them, Josh
Definitely.
and I mean, we've created addendums for their contracts. We've moved their dates without fees.
Right.
Honestly, I think any photographer that's charging a fee for that should not be doing that.
I agree.
There is nothing they could have done to have helped this circumstance. And honestly, for us, I think the way we're treating our couples in these moments are going to pay dividends. Not that we're doing it for that, because we're not. Absolutely. I'm not definitely doing it for that, but I know for a fact that the way you treat them now will pay dividends to you and your business in the future, because they're going to share that with their friends that are getting married. Hey, you know, this photographer treated me really well during the season. But yeah.
Yes. So. And I know you're talking about, you know, vendors are booking up. I'm talking with brides, you know, for next spring, and they're kind of like, hey, what are your current brides? Are people booking for next year? What's going on? And I'm like, yes, they are. And because brides from this year are having to reschedule, I would go ahead and, you know, pay a deposit or whatever you need to do to reserve the vendors that you really, really want. Yeah. Because my worry is that we won't be available because of the rescheduling. Yeah,
and that's for us. I mean, 2021 is already filling up. And that's the question that was asked that we'll go over, I guess, a little bit later. But but 2021 is already it was already filling up before this, and now it's even more intense.
Well, so that's what I would just contribute to that is just like the press conference yesterday. Right now, you've got a pent up demand. Yeah, the demand is going to be high. So a lot of photographers are going to have to consider ways to possibly expand their businesses much quicker than they would have anticipated if they do not have second shooters that they already are working with, or if they do not have an apprentice that they are already working with, then this is going to force them to keep up with the demand and stay viable with their business and their economy, because they're going to get lost and pushed down in the mix if they cannot multitask and fulfill the demand.
We've even been talking about that, you know, looking at possibly hiring an associate photographer starting. We had already been talking through some things like that for our business anyway, because we have had other people shoot weddings for us and then us take care of the work that is involved in it. Right. And we've talked recently about possibly adding an associate photographer for Amy Cole, because at some point we are going to have weddings we're going to want to take. Yes. And what's going to happen is we're not going to be available because we've moved all these weddings from 2020 to 2021. Yes. And then we're all of a sudden in a financial situation because we've made all that money. You know how that works.
Yeah. I think it's the perfect time to do that. Like just what Josh said. I mean, if ever there was a time to add especially an associate that y'all could hire to take on additional weddings, you know, it's perfect.
I think it's a perfect time. Yeah. Okay. So here's a fun one. What's something you have learned from one another? Oh, the two of us.
Oh, I can go
many things.
So one thing that Amy has taught me a lot about is not being afraid to be real. I think with owning a business, you kind of feel like you have to put on this front that like everything's just so great and fine, and just learning that it's okay to share the hard parts of life from a place of like, we still have faith and we still believe God has a plan and all of that, but that doesn't mean it's not hard. It doesn't mean it's not terrible some days. Yeah. And just being real, because and I'm just so thankful that I've learned that from you, and thankful that God has allowed me to learn that from you. I just feel like it's impacted my personal life and my business life in so many ways.
I love you, Kay.
So, I love you too.
I love when you step out of that box. Like, it makes me so happy because you're the real deal. And like, I love when you share that side of you, because that's who you are. I've learned a ton of things from you business wise. Like, you are one of the most put together, like I'm not saying this. No. I'm not just saying, she knows I'm not, because I say this to her all the time. she has her act together, y'all. Like when you hire Kate to shoot your wedding or to do anything for you, the girl has it lined up. Sometimes I feel like I'm like winging it. Like, I'm like, nope, we're going to do it this way this time. Kate just has this way of being able to just like take things from the beginning to the very end. Each step has a process. Her workflow, y'all, ain't no joke.
We've talked about this before. But I think people have to realize everybody is different, because so many of my friends are like, how do you work from home? How do you... And I'm like, well, for me, I have to have this crazy checklist. Like, that's how it works for me. But for other people, sounds insane and would never work.
Here's the thing. Josh Sullins would totally have that checklist with you and has wondered why I have not created the checklist that you have. But you saw her checklist. It's all in. But the biggest blessing that I've taken from you and learned from you is that, number one, I always have a friend.
Yes.
There have been a lot of moments in my life where I have felt very lonely in that aspect, being a minister's wife and also being a minister's wife with this business. Yes. And then also we've moved a few times. So for me, one of the greatest benefits you give me is that you're always a phone call away. Like, yes. I remember sitting in my car probably 3 or 4 months ago and things were just crazy. Life was crazy. Things were crazy. Everything was going crazy. And I literally just picked up the phone and called her. I was like, I just need you to stop what you're doing and pray for me right now.
Yes.
And she did.
Yes.
And so I have always desired that kind of friendship. Even though we don't get to see each other face to face a lot, we do get to see each other in other aspects of our lives a lot.
Yes.
So that's my biggest.
And can I throw in another thing? So Amy is like when I think of family goals, like the Sullins, like they are goals. And so I know, like, for my future family, I'm just going to call Amy like every 5 minutes and be like, what should I do? Help me raise my children, everything.
We are weird parents. We definitely.
Well, they're the real deal when it comes to parents. And the way they raise their kids, I'm telling you, you'll never meet like sweeter, more like amazing teenagers. I like look at them and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I hope my kids are like that one day.
Josh just went.
Are you sure?
They have their moments, everyone.
Well, we all do.
But they are great kids. We definitely looked up.
That's because of y'all.
So we looked up on the kid line. So, okay. So, let's see. Someone asked, how did we two become friends? We've already covered that one in the early one. So, what do you admire most about one another?
That's kind of the same thing.
That's kind of the same thing.
I mean, I could talk about that all day.
We'll skip that one. Okay, so this is a good one. Okay. What is the best advice you would pass on to another creative?
Okay. So I can share a little bit for what I've like gone through the past year. I started going to counseling really because of business stress. Mm-hmm. And what we have realized from this, when I say we, me and my counselor.
The little rat in my pocket.
Me and Kristen, she's like the best. But we all can tend to do this when we own a business, but my identity just becomes my business, or like, my business becomes my identity.
Right.
And being able, my encouragement to any business owners or photographers, anyone who owns a business though, is that it is, we've talked about this, it's our ministry, but it is not our identity.
Right.
Like, it is not, our success in it is not, God doesn't look at that and judge, if he loves us or who we are as people or anything like that,
Right.
And I think that has been something that, I've been in business for 7 years now, and just wishing I had been able to learn and grow in that way earlier on.
Yeah.
And if anyone's struggling with that, being able to kind of just acknowledging that's something that's hard. Mm-hmm. I think that's just super important.
Yeah. Megan says yes, girl.
Yes.
So Kate and I, we're both pretty honest about this. Counselor for me has changed the game. I feel like I'm at a place now, mental health wise, where I'm handling things a lot better. And I I had been in a burnout season. Probably I'd say early last year. It was when it started, 2019. We had been tired in our life in just other ways, and I think it just spilled over into my business. It wasn't that I didn't want to shoot anymore, or I didn't want clients anymore. I just kind of had this moment of like, oh, why am I doing this? What is it that I'm gaining from this? Like, I had basically worked myself to death and was not resting ever. And through counsel, through my husband, and then counsel through a counselor, I've learned that I don't take that time to just go, you know what, today it's okay if I don't have drive today.
Yes.
Like, it's okay if I take this day and I set this day aside for a massage, or if I don't open my computer and I don't answer the 14,022 emails that are sitting there. My life had revolved around that for so long. And I was priding myself. Like, it became like a pride issue in my heart that I was saying things like, no, I'm going to be the best at answering the email. I'm going to get to this email before that photographer gets to this email. And it became kind of this pride thing. Yes. And then the other counselor, definitely, if you own a business, if you own a business, if you're married, if you have children,
if you're a person,
if you're a minister's wife, I think counseling is, I think that's the best route to go. But the second thing that I would definitely say is, don't expect, for a creative that's new on the scene, don't expect to be where someone is that is 9 years into their business. I'm 9 years, Kate's 7 years into her business. People that are starting, they're trying to, I see this on education sites and Facebook pages all the time. They're rushing to try to be who it is they desire to be. Like, their editing needs to be this way. And I know for me, it took me years to create the Amy Cole look that I'm known for today. And same for you, Kate. I mean, we've talked about this. So I think rushing to get to where you want to be, it's a slow growth process.
Yes.
And if you try to rush it, for most people, it doesn't work out well that way. So,
and one thing I would add to kind of your first point is I had the time boundaries. Like, I would only work certain hours, but mentally I was thinking about my business 24/7.
Yeah. And now I've learned ways to disengage. Like, nope.
Yes.
This is not business time. This is family time, or this is dinner time, or this is ministry time. So I totally get that. Okay. So here's another question about the virus. Okay. Is there a permanent change you've made to your business strategy because of COVID-19?
For me, the biggest change I've made is some changes to my contract.
Yeah.
Which I feel like we both would agree I hate having to have a contract. I mean, because we're so relational with our clients, but obviously we have to have that.
Right.
And so I've just added a few clauses that address what, if this happened in the future,
this is what,
and not just, obviously part of that is just being able to handle rescheduling and stuff, but then also saying if it's, a global health pandemic or whatever it is, if I basically am not going to be safe in the environment, that I'm, may not be able to fulfill my role, which is just so, I hate it. But I think it's just having to put things like protection in place of we've never gone through this before.
No, so, and I never want to again.
No, please, Jesus, please.
For us, my gosh, we've just created an addendum to our contracts. That was something that we've had a couple of weddings in the past 9 years that have had to cancel for different reasons, either a breakup or different things. Sure. And so we kind of had a contract cancellation clause in there. I feel like looking back over my contract now, I feel like I set myself up really well. For the ways that I had asked certain things, and you and I have had this conversation, we have always asked for percentages versus amounts. And so I think that our verbiage in that is good for us. as far as changing anything in particular, I think the only thing we've really changed is just how we're marketing social media during this season. We have created a YouTube channel, a family YouTube channel that we're using kind of like for business. And I think that that's helped us kind of have an avenue to still be out there. We have a marriage one that Josh and I are working on. We're hoping to record it maybe at the end of the week. But that seems to be the thing people want to talk to us about for some reason. But just little things like that. But for the most part, we haven't really changed like our business strategy. We just had to morph our strategy for the season, if that makes sense. So anything else you want to add to that one?
No, that's great.
Okay. So the next question is, what is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Okay, look, my husband gives me so much trouble for this. Okay, he thinks that I'm insane. But my favorite ice cream flavor is Neapolitan.
I love Neapolitan. Do I not order Neapolitan every time we get a
Oh, I'm so happy right now because he thinks that's like so weird.
Ice cream. That's a whole different
ball. Oh, Jenny's? Yeah. That's a whole nother ball game.
Yeah,
I guess
that's a whole other.
What's your favorite Jenny's one?
My favorite Jenny's ice cream is probably Brambleberry.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that. Wait, Peyton says, "Hey, my faves. As a gal getting married in October, marriage content is a yes."
Yes. Hey, Peyton.
Well, we're getting ready to put it out, Peyton. Yes. I'm not sure what all you can take from it, but we're gonna try.
Oh, it'll be awesome. Y'all just know.
I love that you love Neapolitan ice cream.
I'm telling you. Now, I'm a big chocolate person, so like any dessert, I'm gonna choose chocolate. But like, I really love Neapolitan ice cream, but like I can't ever buy it because Dylan just thinks that's weird.
Well, I'm gonna have it for you when you're at my house.
Sounds great.
But do you like stir it together too and cream?
I'll eat them. I won't stir it together, but I'll like eat them together.
Oh yeah, I'll eat them together. But sometimes I like to just stir them together and create my own little like concoction. Josh is snarling his nose at me right now. Like this.
Wait, so is that your favorite, or do you have a different, like a real favorite?
Oh, no, I would choose Neapolitan. Mm-hmm. Like, if I were going to the store, I never choose it because nobody in my house likes it.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I don't ever choose that, but like, I have loved Neapolitan since I was a little girl.
Me too!
Oh, love it. Cookies and cream would probably be my second favorite.
Mine would probably be chocolate chip cookie dough.
Oh yeah, that's a big hit. That's a big hit with the Sullivan's teens. They love them some cookie dough.
Love it.
Okay, so why do you love what you do, Kate?
Oh, y'all, I just love shooting weddings. It's the most fun.
It is.
I mean, really, and I know I said this all the time, so I'm probably being repetitive, but just getting to know my couples. We talk about this. We probably feel the exact same way. I mean, for me, it's the relationship aspect. Like, I love taking pictures. The creative side of it is fun, but that's not really why I do it.
Right.
So I just love getting to like know the couples and just love them. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah. For me, it's definitely the relationships. Like, we absolutely adore, and we're pretty much one in one on this. Like, I love my couples. Love my couples. So yeah, that would be me. And Sammy Sam 0119, Miss Amy, I'm glad you look good during this quarantine because I stay looking like a slob every day. Obviously, you did not see my stories earlier because
this is the first time I put on makeup in like a month.
I told Josh, I was like, I'm going to go wash my hair before this.
Yes.
I have looked horrid. So don't take this as who I am.
So funny.
It's not at all. Okay. What is your favorite pizza or pizza topping, Kate?
I'm so boring. I just like cheese. Like, I'm so boring.
This is where we differ.
Yeah. Like,
I love an all the way pizza minus onions.
Oh,
I don't like onions on my pizza.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't either. But I'm very boring when it comes to pizza.
I do like me a good cheese pizza, like a really good cheesy pizza. I can eat that.
Now, there is a place around here that used to have like a 4 cheese kind of situation. Like that is like my favorite.
4 cheese kind of situation. That's how I make my grilled cheese.
Oh, Well, you can make me one next time.
I'll make you that too. Neapolitan ice cream and grilled cheese. We've got our menu.
I'm literally like a 5-year-old
for next visit. When Josh, okay, so here's a funny like story. When Josh and I started dating, I didn't eat anything. Like I didn't eat hardly anything. Like I was so picky, and he slowly introduced me to like toppings on my pizza to where now I love everything other than onion. I just still don't like.
Good job, Josh.
Yeah, so he trained me.
Yeah, for sure.
I can tell you a story about all kinds of things like that. We'll save them.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Your work environment. What does it look like? Do you have the TV on or off? Is your music on or off? Do you have a coffee? Do you have a soda?
So I pretty much like 90% of the time am working at my desk. I just we're different in this, I think. Mm-hmm. I got a standing desk because I was having like neck pain. It's this whole long story, but I'm sitting obviously right now, but it's cool because it can, go up and down.
Right.
But I'm like, I am not productive if I don't sit at my desk. So like,
and now
I'm always listening to music or podcasts. I was just listening to Amy being on a podcast today. She's a guest. She can tell you all about that. But yeah, that's just kind of me. I have to always be at my desk.
Yeah.
But
I will say, Hallie wants to know what standiness you have.
Okay, let me look up the brand. I can't remember. I'm going to look it up for you, Hallie.
She's looking it up right now, y'all. This is Kate. This is Kate.
Okay, it's from this company called Autonomous. I had never in my life heard of it, but I was just searching for standing desk. Right. I kind of invested a little bit because it's like electronic, so it can, because I was like, I don't need to be lifting a desk if I'm injured.
Right.
So that's what I got. Yes, Autonomous. That's the name of it.
Autonomous standing. I work mostly from my comfy living room chair.
Yes, you do.
I have an office. I'm sitting in it right now. I love my office. And funny enough, since we've remodeled it, I do feel more comfortable being in here.
Awesome.
Now that it's kind of like Amy Cole on brand.
Yes.
The office now. Josh and I have been taking turns working in here. The kids have come in here if they need to take tests and stuff. So it's been used more now since it's been remodeled than it had been in the past. But I prefer to specifically edit from my chair in the living room. Mm-hmm. And I have friends on and always a Diet Dr. Pepper.
Love it. Now look, sometimes I'll have like Netflix up on the computer too. I mean, I work distracted, but like I do have to have something going on in the background like you.
I cannot play music while I'm working though.
Gotcha.
I don't know if it's because I'm a singer, like I sing all the time too. Something about that. Now Josh is opposite. He works constantly with music in the background. Right? I can't. It drives me crazy. Like I get distracted by singing it.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes total sense. Those of us who can't sing don't have that problem. I don't have that problem.
Whatever. So, I have been in the car with you and you've sang.
Please.
All right. Who is more goofy, Amy or Kate?
I mean, I feel like what?
I said I feel like that's a tie.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that like I'm more goofy when I'm with you or talking with you. Like you make me feel more comfortable and just
I bring out your goofy, Kate.
Yes, that's exactly it.
When we are together, we have been like Kate is a very deadly do right. Like she wants to obey the rules.
Yeah, it's a problem.
She wants things, and every time we've ever been together, I've always gotten her in trouble.
Yes. You are my fun friend. Like, you make me have fun, and I'm so thankful because I'm boring.
You're not boring. You're hilarious. I just think that I think I'll give you permission to be
for sure.
Goofy.
For sure.
Okay, this one's hilarious. This question came from Josh Sullins. I know it did.
Of course.
Who is louder, Amy or Kate? Josh. What a question, Josh. Like, no one knows the answer to this.
I mean,
I am definitely Kate has a voice.
But I think you're louder.
I'm definitely louder. But
it's a good thing.
But when Kate needs something to be done, I've seen Kate get it done.
Oh yes.
But I know that I'm louder. No doubt. All right. Is there a combination best for split? Oh, this is going to be a little bit of an intense question.
Okay.
Is there a combination best for splitting money between a business and a personal account? Do you have a rhyme or reason to how you do that?
Yes. So what I started doing several years ago is basically based on the number of weddings I was planning to book, I would estimate like my income, like the gross income of the business. And then then I estimated a percentage of that and then spread it out over the year to basically be able to pay myself the same amount of money every month, no matter if it was wedding season or not wedding season.
Yeah.
And that has worked really well for me. I mean, everybody's different, but because I'm very type A, it helps me that it's like the same amount.
That is so her, and I do not do it like that at all.
Tell us about what you do.
Well, I separate, like my money goes directly into the other account that we have for the business.
Okay.
And then so if it's a big month, then I do pay myself more. So like if we have a big influx of money, again, I have 3 kids too. So sometimes I intentionally book more like in the month.
Want a bigger bonus.
Yeah.
What do you say?
I want a bigger bonus.
Oh, yeah.
So I intentionally will book more weddings around seasons that I know financially we're going to need more money. Gotcha. So, for instance, when school's starting back, I will take on additional things in order to pay myself more for that month.
That makes sense.
So we do not have a set payment that we pay ourselves every month. Yep. We pay based off of the amount of work we do in that month.
Yes.
And that helps me too, because I know the months that I can take shortage. So like, for instance, for us, March, we did not take weddings for March. And so what I did is I knew what income I needed to make in like January, February, and April in order to give me a paycheck. So I did cover myself in the month of March.
Yeah.
But we're also in the middle of building passive incomes too.
Yes, that is another thing for us. We do have some passive income in other ways, and we're developing more ways right now in the middle of this crisis to create passive income. So that's another thing for us is we do actually have monthly income from Amy Cole just naturally. So that is
I think the important thing for that, I mean, the similarity is we have a separate account that the business money goes into, and that eliminates any, questions of where's the money going, because then you can track exactly how much, even if it's different every month, you're still tracking it.
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing for people I would encourage, is making sure you have getting a business account set up.
Definitely too. Yeah. I mean, for us, we have more than we have. We have like some weird accounts. Like we have like some secret accounts and stuff like that too.
Right.
So that we don't have cards attached to that. So, So anything else you want to add to that?
No, that's great.
Okay. So how are each of you handling rescheduling weddings, and how are you helping your clients? We covered this a little bit.
We did.
I would just say, what do you want to say?
Well, I think everybody has to determine what works for them in certain ways. I know, like, for right now, I think you and I are we're differing a little bit on how we are like changing payments due from people. Like several of my weddings didn't really get moved very far. Mm-hmm. So like I just told them their new final payment due date is it moved with their wedding basically.
Right.
But I think you have to determine what on that end, what works for you and what you need for your family.
And for us, what we requested that they paid. Now, if they had an issue, if there was a financial issue that they were dealing with, we looked at this like by case. But in the addendum, we asked them to pay half of their payment due on the original due date. And then the other half, including the extra hour add-ons, was due 30 days prior to their new wedding date. And we did that mainly because we were expecting income from April and May.
Right.
That we are obviously not now getting. And so it was a way to help bring in income.
Right.
But again, we did go case by case on that. So if anybody came back to us and they had lost their job or been laid off, we did go case by case with that. But we did try to ask them for half of their payment due on the original date. Because honestly, most of them, we were so close to their dates, they were already probably anticipating payoff.
Exactly.
So, and honestly, we didn't have one case where that wasn't the case. They went ahead and paid that half and then the other half in their addendum. Yes. And we just made sure that was noted in their addendum contract. So
Tracy Water, so that's good to know.
And Tracy, that's good to know. And then Peyton said she is a boss on wedding day. She gets families together when they don't listen. She's talking about you, Kate.
I love Peyton's second shot for me. I love her.
I do that too. I don't mess around with no families on a wedding day.
No. I've got to come to a wedding with you at some point. I want to see you.
We did do that. That would be fun for us to do that together.
Yes.
Families on a wedding day, I am smooth sailing. Yes. Let me tell you this really quickly. Like, I am fun loving. I am go-getter. Like, I'm just happy. But when it comes to that family portion, things like I become this drill sergeant. They call me drill sergeant.
I love it.
I don't mess around. I'm like, Mama. And I'm like, snap.
Let's go. I was going to point out, Tracy had a question.
Oh, yeah. What if the venues are paying you? Did you ask the same of them? I have never had a venue pay me.
Right. You must be contracted through she must be contracted maybe through the venue, which is cool. I would still try to keep that same rule or kind of, I mean, if hopefully you have a contract set with the venue, and if so, it may require, like you were saying, editing that or adding something to the contract that says you're still going to be getting paid. Even like, I love Amy's, the way that she's doing it, where she's getting a portion now, like she would have, originally. And then that's giving them a little bit of leeway, especially, I know venues, everybody's dealing with losing money right now. So being able
She said it's an all-inclusive deal. So cool. Tracy, I think I would probably go, if that were me in that scenario, I think I would go to the venue since it's through them and say, and I would request like what their addendum contract is going to be, like request that they tell you when your payment was going to be in, if they're going to do split payment for you. I would ask they're probably very familiar with the questions that you're asking right now if they have these types of deals with other photographers. So I would definitely go to them and ask them those questions directly. Asking questions like that doesn't bother me typically. So I usually just go all in and say, can you tell me what this is about?
Right.
Are you, okay, here's a good one. Are you caught up in business? And if you are, what are you doing right now?
We talked about
We both said we didn't want to answer this question today.
Look, I finished editing, like, last week. I finished, like, all my editing.
Me too.
I didn't work for several days.
Either.
I'm not going to lie.
I'm not either. I didn't either. I mean,
and I just think it's okay.
It is okay. My counselor told me it was okay.
That's awesome. That's all we need to know.
I actually told her that on Monday when I met with her through the teleconference thing that we're doing now. I said to her, I feel really fidgety and I almost feel like a guilt. Like I was doing this. I was like, I feel like I'm so
right. What do I need to be doing?
I'm so used to my work weeks being very structured.
Right.
Like I work all day on Mondays, all day on Tuesdays. I work half day on Wednesday, all day on Thursday, and I don't work on Friday because I'm typically shooting a wedding on Saturday.
Yes.
Fridays are date days. If
yes,
you've been around here, nobody messes with my
Day Friday.
And so I'm so used to having like that structure built in me that like on Monday when I did my social media work, but like that lasted about an hour.
Right.
So once I finished that, I felt very fidgety and unsettled. And she just looked at me. She was like, Amy, you're caught up. There's no guilt in that. Like you've produced what you were supposed to do. Quit feeling guilty about that. You fulfilled the contracts
that's right.
you have outstanding.
Yes.
And so for me, I'm just trying to do things that put me ahead a little bit, like and dream. Yeah, Josh and I are really hard. We actually have some plans that were supposed to be released in early April that we didn't do because of all this going on. And so we've been taking this time to dream bigger than what we even had been thinking. So yeah, we're dreaming. We're just doing a lot of like proactive type things. And education. Yeah, we are getting ready to release some education.
Yay! And I was telling Amy earlier, I'm like, for me, I've been using this time for random house projects and things that I don't normally take the time to do or have the time to do. And she was like, she's homeschooling her children right now. Like, that's a little bit time consuming, people.
I need something stronger than this with that, y'all.
Oh my gosh. So I just think everybody's situation's so different. I think we're all doing the best we can.
We're just doing the best we can. I don't think there's a rule that we have to be following right now. I think rest is good. Mm-hmm. I think when we come out of this, we're going to be exhausted because we're going to be catching up on all these things that we couldn't do.
Oh yeah, it's going to be busy.
So why not rest right now? And Megan said, y'all know how to edit video. Want to spend some of that free time working for me? No.
Megan, Megan. We can't do that.
I love you, girl. No.
I would mess it up so bad.
That takes a gift to do that.
It does.
I don't even understand it. Sometimes you say things, Megan, in your stories, and I'm like, I don't know what she just talked about.
She's a beast. She's amazing.
She's amazing.
Megan Pettis videography. Y'all follow her.
I know. She is amazing. Okay. So do you feel we will be back to normal for June and July brides? We have 2 questions left. This is one of them.
I really hope so.
I hope that we are. That is my prayer, is that my June 6th and 13th bride are able to have their wedding days without rescheduling. That is my hope. However, I do think that they need to prepare.
Yes.
I think that they need to be developing a plan B. I think if your weddings are in June or July, I don't think you need to reschedule them yet.
Right.
But I do think you need to be proactive in preparing.
Definitely.
If you need to. Either deciding that you want to have an elopement now, like maybe then. Because I think by June, we probably will be able to meet in groups of 10. Mm-hmm. So if they wanted to have maybe I don't know that for a fact.
Sure. We don't.
I got a phone call yesterday.
Nobody called me yesterday. This is my assumption.
Yes.
My assumption is that in June, we'll probably be able to be back in groups. I know in church settings, we're not preparing that way. We think there's going to be smaller groups back into larger groups.
Gotcha. So
I think for weddings in June, it may be that it's going to be a smaller wedding than you had anticipated. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just telling my brides to prepare now for that. Like,
yes,
just create a plan B.
Yes, I think that's perfect. And I think that's going to help them just not. I mean, the bottom line is we can't just be like, oh, for sure, you're going to have your wedding exactly the way you had it. And then they're going to be devastated if not. I think just being smart. And I think like we talked about earlier, we're just letting our brides know we're available to help them, whether that's just talking through it, giving them advice, whatever that looks like. I think that's a big role that we're playing right now, is just being available to be there for them and acknowledging it's just awful. So, you know.
And Megan just said small wedding equals more portrait time bonus. And Instagram just alerted me that we have 1 minute and 45 seconds left that we can talk.
Oh my gosh, we talk too much. Okay.
One last question. You can just say yes or no. Have you booked any weddings during the crisis? We have booked one.
I have not booked hardly. I haven't booked any. They're just saying they're wanting to book, but they're waiting on money.
That's what we're hearing too. So
yeah.
So everyone, it looks like Instagram's gonna cut off in 1 minute and 16 seconds. Final thoughts are: I love Kate so much. I'm so glad she did this with me.
I love you too.
So yeah, we're definitely going to do more of this, Kate. Like, I would love to get back on with Kate again and answer more questions. And there are other friends. I'm sure Kate has people that she would love to jump on with. This is a neat and unique time where we can all kind of like come together and answer things like this. So I would highly recommend other vendors do this kind of stuff.
Yes.
So, Kate, I'm sure I'll text you in just a little bit.
Of course. Love you so much.
This was so fun. I love you guys. We're going to leave this on I hope this saves. I'm pretty sure it will.
I think it will ask us when we
Yeah. Okay, so we'll make sure to save these, so if anybody wants to go back and watch the rest of it, you can. We'll see you later. I love you, Kate.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.